Silton, thank you, Doug, for meeting with me and agreeing to an interview. Appreciate it. We wanted to just kind of get to know you a little better and share with people that follow my channel and watch YouTube and watch you a little bit about you that they might be curious about.
Sure.
And so,
thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Hello, everybody.
So, wanted to just start by asking, how did you get started in West Coast Swing?
So West Coast Swing, I didn't like West Coast Swing when I started West Coast Swing. So I was a professional Lindy hopper, and I loved a dance called Carolina Shag. And in order to learn more techniques and more things I could integrate into Carolina Shag when I lived in Los Angeles, I had to learn West Coast because that was the closest dance that I could possibly get to it. So I'd go back to Myrtle Beach and I would learn from all the shaggers there. And I was talking to someone this weekend about this. This is before YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. So I paid this guy $5 a month who lived in Myrtle Beach, and he would mail me VHS copies of Carolina Shag videotapes every month. And I would like pour over those with my friends and we'd watch them and try and learn Shag. And then I started going to West Coast dancing in order to get better at Shag. And then I saw a flyer for an event called Swing Diego. It was the first year of Swing Diego, and I saw that the prize money was like $50,000 or something. And I didn't understand at the time that it was distributed among all the divisions. And I was like, I can learn West Coast. I'll make 50 grand. That's worth it, you know. And then my first event for West Coast was called Boogie and Blues. The event doesn't run anymore. But my buddy Dax and I, pro Lindy hoppers, going to this event, we walk into this ballroom in Long Beach, California. We're like, who are the best two followers? We're going to teach these people a thing or two about technique. You know, we thought we were the best thing ever. And they point out this little short woman over there and this young girl. And we went up fearlessly and danced with Tatiana Molman and Marianne Nunez. We're like, okay, this is a cool dance. We see what they're doing. And that was like my love affair with West Coast. Started August of 2000, really. 2000 to 2001 was my first year in West Coast. So I was a Lindy hopper. I started teaching in 1998 when I lived in Florence, Italy. And then started Shag in 99 and then West Coast in 2000.
Wow, going all the way back.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Did you have any particular idols in West Coast Swing that you really followed, or?
When I started, I always loved the social awesomeness of Kyle and Sarah. And when I was starting out, I was on the Lindy Hop tour. So I was going to Lindy Hop conventions and traveling to teach workshops. Like here in Denver, my first Lindy Hop workshops were at the Turnverein. And the weekend that I was teaching there, Kyle and Sarah were in town teaching West Coast workshops somewhere. And for the first 3 months, every weekend, I was in the same city as Kyle and Sarah. It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I would teach, the Lindy Hop stuff. I did Lindy Hop dances. Sunday night, I would always go to the West Coast dance in whatever city I was in, and then I would get to play with all the Westies.
Nice.
So yeah, Kyle and Sarah were huge influences. Ginger Pickerel, who I got to dance with this weekend, she was one of my first Shag teachers. And then we started putting a routine together. I never got on the floor, but she was so amazing to work with, and I always look up to her for her footwork. And her responsiveness is amazing.
Awesome. So, how did you do in rising through the ranks? Did you do like everybody else, start in novice, go, all the way
I started a novice. I never just jumped right somewhere, but when I was dancing through the levels, the point system was totally different. I don't really understand it now because I don't have to. But I was a novice for about 10 months, from Boogie and Blues all the way through something called St. Patrick's Day Swing, I think, that was in LA. And then I won Seattle Easter Swing and Intermediate, and I think I just did one more after that, but I went right to Advanced. Jordan and Todd were coaching me back in the day, and they said there's no rush, you don't have to get out of a division, make sure they throw you out. And I didn't quite understand what that meant, and I do now, because when you're at an event in the Champions Division, everyone's fighting for those 10 spots and everyone belongs there, So it's a matter of the lower you are, enjoy the process, because when you get to All-Star, or if you get to Champions, making finals is no longer like that easy if it was easy earlier on for you.
Gotcha.
But I put in some good months in novice, intermediate, and then advanced for a bit, and then they created the All-Star division, and so I was in the All-Star division with my graduating class. So Edwin Lee, Nathan Warner, Miles and Tessa, we all came up at the same time.
Cool. So, as a champion, basically, what does it take to be a champion? I mean, besides once you get to All-Star.
So there's competitive level, which just means you've put in the time, you've worked so many hours on your craft that you can replicate whatever you want to do at a moment's notice. You have your grounded, dance. You have your responsiveness. You have your engagement and disengagement in the dance, and you can replicate it, and you can make other people look that good when you dance with them. So to me, that's all about what makes part of a champion a champion. And then as being like a champion traveling instructor, even though I'm trying to do that less now, to me, the difference between a champion traveling instructor and a regional instructor is that not only do I continue my education and take from everybody, but I've created my own techniques and philosophies, and I've borrowed from all the other pros and even non-pros. I learned from everybody. I learned from watching my puppy. I'm like, oh, that's how that works. You're very cute. And creating your own stuff, your own platform, and then having enough pride in it to dance that platform and say, this is how I dance, I'm going to teach how I dance, and I'll show you other ways of dancing too. But I'm proud of what I have to offer in the dance. And I have to remember that when I'm competing, because I watch my peers and I go, oh, I would love to dance like that, or I'd love to dance like that. And then I go, oh, I'll train that. But when I'm dancing, I dance me.
Cool. So being a champion really requires some travel, right? I mean,
It does. You have to hit the ground running. I've been on the road between 30 and 40 weekends a year since 2001, and it's freaking tiring. So I got into a semi-retired stage in, when was it? I came back from my journey in August, and I decided I still want to teach. I still love it. I love social dancing again. We all hit our plateaus, or we're not feeling it sometimes, but right now I'm feeling it. So at home I have a studio in Gresham, Oregon, and I teach Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I work with other competitors, people who come in like on demand. So if you came in on a Friday, I'd work with you on a Friday, but otherwise I'm just working on enjoying life. Then I travel once or twice a month. But yeah, you got to get out there, and what we don't see, we don't really see people for people, right? You see someone, you're like, oh, that's a champion dancer, but you don't know, is that an extroverted person? Is that an introverted person? Do they want to be on stage? Right. Can they create their art through masks? They're dancing a piece, but maybe they can't have a conversation because they don't want this interaction. Sometimes I'm in the ballroom and I want to dance with everyone, and then I just have to go hide for a little bit and play with my puppy, and I go, okay, now I can come back and dance with everyone. Because you want to give and give and give.
Speaking of which, I mean, you become a sort of celebrity by being a champion, by being on YouTube. So when you visit anywhere where there's a dance going on, do you pretty much have anonymity until you get to the hotel, and then it's like people pointing or wanting to talk to you, or how does that work?
Occasionally you meet people in the airport. Like you see people all the time. We're like, someone's like, "Hey, Doug," and you're like, "Oh," or most of the time people call out Lizzie's name, if they see her. But that's one of the hardest things that I learned was, if I'm really tired and I don't feel like dancing, just because you're coming up to say hi to me doesn't mean that you're going to ask me to dance or that you want to dance with me. You're just coming up to say hi. And as soon as I got that through my head of like, no, people are just interacting, this is normal human interaction, then I feel really comfortable opening up and talking to everyone. And then I have my ballroom time where I'm like, I'm social dancing. Whoever wants to dance, I'm in. And then I have my super creative time when I'm like, well, in order for me to grow as a dancer, I need to be challenged. So that's when I want to dance with the people that will challenge me. Just like people ask me to dance and they say, oh, I need to dance with more people like you because I challenge them. I'm like, yeah, you sure do. So do I. So we all are looking for that personal growth and development. So when you're like, it's our community is amazing, because in what other world, if you go to Comic-Con and you see Ben Affleck as Batman, you're not going to go chat with him. You're not going to get to dance with him. You're not going to dance with Ben Affleck, but at these events, you can approach, PJ and Tashina, and you can talk to them, and you can dance with them, and you can learn more about them because they're giving open champion people. You know?
Cool. If anybody follows you, they know about Lizzie. Can you tell us about Lizzie? I mean,
sure. Well, Lizzie. So my late wife Nikki, she got her at a pet store in the Vancouver, Washington Mall, and Nikki had freckles on her face and on her knees, and Lizzie has freckles on her face and her knees. So that was love at first sight. And then so I met Lizzie when she was 3. I became my dad when she was 3. She's 9 years now, 9 years young, and she travels everywhere with me. So she has her little bag, and she goes under the seat in front of me on airplanes. She's very quiet. If you ever knock on my door, ring my bell, she'll go ballistic. Like, she wants you to know there's someone there. But until that happens, she's just a chill puppy. She likes her own private space sometimes, and then she'll cuddle. And yeah. So if you come up to me at an event and you want to say hi to Lizzie, just don't let her lick you, because I'm training her not to lick people. Thank you. Oh, and so Lizzie, the name is short for Miss Elizabeth Bennet. So Nikki was a Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen fan. So that's where she got her name from.
Oh, cool.
And, yeah.
So, I'm a novice dancer. My friend Victoria here is a beginner.
Then I really shouldn't be talking
newcomer.
with you guys. I have to be seen amongst other pros.
What kind of advice or recommendations can you give to us? We're just really in love with the dance and really want to progress, and in general, just how should we
In general, you got to work on it, right? So there's a book that it's a very famous book by Malcolm Gladwell called The Outliers. I don't know if you've heard of it, but Malcolm Gladwell does social engineering. He shows you how social realms work, how people succeed, how the best people get to where they are. And the short of it is 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of work. So it doesn't mean that if you love West Coast and you go social dancing for 10,000 hours, right? So what is that, like 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, then you'll be Benji Schwimmer. You'll be the best, right? Like, you can do anything that you want to do because you've put in those 10,000 hours. So the 10,000 hours that you have to do are the training, the standing in the studio on one leg going, where's my balance? And where's my balance on this part of my foot? Where's my balance on this part of my foot? If I'm transferring my weight to this foot, how fast am I doing it? Can I do it faster? Can I do it slower? How do I make sure that I'm not going to wobble as I do that? This lead that I was taught by this instructor doesn't work, so how am I going to change it to make sure that it works socially? You know, and then some of the best things you can do are videotape yourself, because you might say, and I get this in every private lesson, I say, you're stepping to your side on your whip. As a leader on your 1, you should be moving backwards to allow the follower to come forwards. And everyone goes, well, I was taught that, I do that. And then you watch a video, and video doesn't lie, right? So you can see right where you're stepping. And then there's something this is sort of I don't know if it's different advice than what most people would give, but in my opinion, dance competition, it's a totally different animal. So it can really kill the love for dance for a lot of people. Because when you put yourself out on a pedestal, you can be beaten down so hard, right? Because at any event, there's 10 to 15 people making finals, and everyone wants to make finals. And if you're a novice, you want to be an intermediate. If you're intermediate, you want to be an advanced. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Because some people say, I just want to get to advanced, and I'll be good. You get to advanced, you're like, I want to be an all-stars, and I want to be more and more and more. But putting in the actual 10,000 hours of work on your craft is, and just don't let it ruin your love for the dance. So for me, I used to work 11 months a year and go to Thailand on vacation for a month and just zen out. And it would take me a good 2 weeks to not feel my phone vibrating on my hip, even though I didn't have my cell phone on me. So it's a matter of pacing and really going after it and working hard.
So you are the founder of the Silton Foundation, right?
Yes.
The Silton Foundation is a nonprofit organization. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is, what it does? How'd you start that?
Sure. So when I met Nikki was a country girl in Oregon, and she was working like 5 jobs. Like, she was a Spanish teacher, ESL through AP Spanish by day. At night, she was bartending or waitressing or line dance instructing, or she did everything just to like make ends meet. And she didn't have money for private lessons, so and she'd be borrowing gas money or getting rides to different conventions. And I came from the opposite end of the spectrum. It was, you want to do this well, let's get you lessons, Dad. Or I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it right. I don't half-ass pretty much anything that I do. So when Nikki and I met, we decided that we can put money to a good use. Because for me, every year I would take $1,000 and I would throw myself a birthday party. So in Los Angeles, it was, here's live music, here's a venue, come and dance, there's no charge. I want to share my birthday with everyone. And I just footed the bill for it. And then we started the foundation by taking that money and saying, we're going to give this to people who don't have the means for dance education or anything that falls under that umbrella. And then over the last few years, we've been getting more and more donations. So last year we gave away over 12 grand, and it was, the money doesn't go to the dancer, the money goes to the vendor, meaning, and you can find out all this information at the SiltonFoundation.org, but our winners get event passes and then that are donated by events. If he needs new dance shoes, we pay the vendor. So the money doesn't go to the person with no money because they might use it for something that's not intended for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
so we make sure that the money stays in the dance community. And then we have a list of who is approved. So not every instructor, we don't give money to every instructor or every event. They have to be on our good person list.
Well, we're getting close to the end of our list of stuff to talk about here, and I would like to ask you, having danced West Coast Swing so many years as a champion now, do you have any observations about how the dance has evolved, where it's at now, and where it might be going?
Yeah, I think this is a really exciting time. Like there's a huge amount of change that we're right in the middle of. So I feel that the champions, one of the best things about being a champion dancer is that I have the ability to show my opinion and I can progress the dance how I see fit. I'm a very progressive person. So I came into Lindy Hop and I wanted to make Lindy Hop smoother, and I wanted to dance to the music that I love, which was groove music, Motown music, soul music. So I was able to sort of shape the dance that way. And West Coast Swing, there's a lot more modernization happening in the dance. So if you look at the dance, when I came in 2000 or before that, you watch old videos on YouTube in the 80s, 90s, you can see the progression from how West Coast came out of Lindy Hop and how we're refining these techniques. And all the instructors that are coming up or that are already here, they have their own thoughts of how this art form should be. So we all get to form it in different ways. It's really cool to see how that all happens. I'm looking forward to seeing where the dance will be in 10 years. Like, I'm really looking forward to, it's gonna be drastically different. I mean, no one knows what it's gonna look like, otherwise we'd be doing it already. But every time, back when I started, it was shag was a huge influence in West Coast. And now it's zouk and kazumba, and everyone's adding all these different things. Mm-hmm. And the good thing is that it follows pop music. So we'll never lose a genre of music. So West Coast Swing, if you think of it as being danced to blues music, it will always have the blues genre. And then there's hip hop, and then there's contemporary, and then there's slow, and there's medium, there's fast, and swing rhythm or non-swing rhythm. So whatever musical artist will be producing in the future, we're gonna dance to it. And whether that means we're still in a slot, or we still have an anchor and a post, who knows?
Huh, interesting. Well, Doug, thanks very much. Appreciate you taking some time out here at 5280 Westival in Denver to sit and talk, and look forward to seeing more of you. We were glad you came to Denver. I guess it was about a month ago when Jonathan Pritchard brought you in, and that was a great little weekend. Hopefully you're open to doing that again.
Yeah, and I'll be back for Swing Time in July.
Okay.
So I'm coming in for that, looking forward to that. And for all of you out there who are listening to this, you can come visit me in Oregon, just half an hour east of Portland International Airport. You can find me online at dougsilton.com.
Cool. All right, Doug, thanks, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.